PROF.NGOWI TV, informed economists and business perspective.
Allow me to thank Professor Ngowi, who addressed the 7 issues. The first one is evolution of industrialization since 1760. The second issue he addressed is the industrialization journey in Tanzania since 1961 to 2015. The third issue he addressed is the industrialization in the 5th phase government regime, whereby the private sector is majorly taking the place for the industrialization process in Tanzania. And the 4th issue the professor addressed is the role of the higher learning institutions in industrialization. And he talked of 5 or 6 issues. The 5th one is the role of MOST and other institutions. The 6th one is other organizations like ISTI and IRMT. And the last one is his contribution. Thank you very much. Those are 7 issues the professor addressed. Now I'll be your moderator. We will ask 5 questions in the first time. The question will be answered. Then we will go to the next round. So I request the ushers to be moving their microphone wherever the question is asked. So we begin.
Thank you. Professor Ngowi, you have addressed several issues regarding industrialization and what has been done and what need to be done so that to get be industrialized, and the contribution of higher learning institutions. Regarding to this one, you have mentioned those normal activities or core issues for higher learning institutions, like training, short courses, workshop. And then giving an example, for example, demonstrating to the industrialization, we have not been done in reality regarding the higher learning institution if we compare to other universities outside to the country. Mine is, what is your opinion? Your opinion regarding to have a real demonstration, demonstrating to the having industries, running them and showing that the industrialization can be done like so. Thank you.
Hotuba ya rais tarehe 20 mwezi wa 11 mwaka 2016 pale bungeni akizungumza mara 35 juu ya industrialization. Lakini kuna kitu ambacho alikisema rais kwamba ifikapo mwaka 2018 Disemba kila mkoa uwe na viwanda 100, zaidi ya 100. Na tunajua kabisa Tanzania tuna professionals wengi, lakini pia tuna universities nyingi. Swali la kwanza, nini chanzo kinachosababisha mpaka sasa tusifikie azma ya rais ya kufikia uchumi wa kati, lakini pia uchumi wa viwanda? Lakini jambo la pili, tunaishi katika dunia ya sayansi na teknolojia. Tunaona teknolojia ime-advance kutokea pale ambapo tulikuwa tunazungumzia mambo ya steam and water mpaka sasa hivi tunakuja kwenye automated au industrialized world. Software zinazotumika nyingi duniani, hizo ambazo tunatumia sasa hivi Tanzania hazipo. Sasa nikawa najiuliza, ni nini ambacho kinatufanya sisi sasa hivi kama universities au watu ambao tumeendelea tusiende na kasi ya dunia ili kufikia uchumi wa viwanda wakati? Asante.
Thank you, moderator. Thank you very much, Professor Ngowi. The professor has delivered. It was magnificent. I would like to pose just a brief question. You did mention Malaysia in your work, and that reminded me of the Asian tigers in economy or in economics. Mentioned South Korea, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore. Now, my question here is, what is it that their higher learning institutions did to achieve what they have achieved so far? Because we were under colonialism around the same period, but they're quite far ahead compared to ours in Africa, but in Tanzania in particular. So what is it that we need to do just to emulate what they did so that we can industrialize faster? Again, thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Ngowi, for enlightening on this industrialization theme. I was always been wondering why Tanzanians would go for the product imported rather than buying for the domestically manufactured products. For example, you have Dabaga, tomato sauce. And you have the American I don't know, Canadian or American Harvest tomato sauce. But naturally, I grew up being automatically when I go to the shelves in the supermarket to pick the American or instead of the burger, even if the burger is cheaper than the American. And you said very well that our industries must produce the best to entice us to buy the homegrown product, and by so doing, contributing to the growth of our own industries. My question is, if I'm used to that, the mentality of viewing everything imported is the best, and if I cannot taste the Tanzanian-made product, how would I know that, indeed, the Dabaga product of 10 years ago is not the Dabaga tomato sauce of today? It is until I taste. But because of that mentality, I won't taste. And if I don't taste, when will I know? And so we'll continue consuming these foreign, imported goods. Now, what strategy do we do to encourage Tanzanians to taste our own product or to try on our own manufactured goods? It might be tricky, but then, thank you.
Thank you. I will respond to them, maybe in the order that they came, but so the first one was, basically I think the key issue is, should universities establish their own industries now? We are doing training, research and stuff. Now, there is again what you call, the core mission of a university. I understand where you are coming from, actually. There is a university in Oslo, Mbeya, the Drift Institute is called. Actually, it's a university that also owns companies. There are some universities that will be owning businesses. But now, in Tanzanian context, for example, I think the universities here, we have enough problems with our core functions that we have not delivered, let alone moving into establishing industries, I would say. We are not yet done with the basics. I'm sure the moment you go to the Minister of Education and say, now we want you to establish a factory here, you say, do you have enough funds for research? Do you have enough lecturers? Do you have enough this? So I think the question is, given our level of development, we yet have to focus on our core business. But really, it's a good idea. I understand some university, I think in Nairobi somewhere, there is a university, and even I've argued with some colleagues in SUA, Sokoine. Why shouldn't we produce yogurt at SUA? Why we are doing so much milk and milk processing? But now there is the question of vision, mission, there is the question of a core mission. The moment you go to TCU and tell TCU, now I want to establish a factory as a university, we will be told, this is your core business. So to me, I think, whereas I understand, I won't say let's do this, because again, even without having our own factories, there are more than enough factories out there from which we can do what we want to do by establishing our own industries. Yet, if we establish our own industries, it's a headache on top of headaches that we already have. I would say, yes, we want industries where we can be practicing, where students can go on internship. Mdede, nimekutaja sana, he's my student and the boss, Sido Mbeya. They have the industrial facility around here. If you want, it's against a question of synergy. It's a question of exactly what I was saying here. It's a question of a duplication of effort. We already have what we have enough, rather than establishing new ones. If you go to Sido Industrial Site in Mbeya, Sido Industrial Site in Mwanza, Sido Industrial Dar es Salaam, Vingunguti, for example, and we have enough from which to learn, rather than establishing new ones. This would be my approach, actually. Now, the other one, of course, it can be open for discussion again. The other one for this young man, I think, George, the question of protectionism, I think that was the key issue. And I think the key issue is how do we protect it? Now, protectionism, it's a long history. I do teach, or rather I taught once international trade. Protectionism is, you know, there are principles actually. When you protect or don't protect, there are global agreements. If you're a member of WTO, World Trade Organizations, there are the do's and don'ts of protectionism. Because under protectionism, what do you want to do? It's very good to understand the theory. And protectionism theory, there is what we call an infant industry protectionism, where you protect your domestic industries so that they can mature, they can become more efficient, they can compete with imports for the reasons that I've said, to protect employment and stuff. But then we have also seen a protectionism taking form of a revenue generation in terms of tariffs, for example, in terms of quotas, you know. So the moment you protect, you can protect through tariff. And if you read now budget, and I've been doing quite a number of budget analysis, by the way, I've been parliamentary advisor. I've been advising the parliamentary committee on budget since Mr. Chenge's time. So I read all the budget. You could see a lot of elements on protectionism. For example, for goods coming outside East African community. Within East African community, we have CET, Common External Tariff. You know, trading within East Africa, really we have removed quite a number of tariffs among ourselves that there is competition. Unless where there is what they call a stay of application. You know, I want to go into that details. But then we have a common external tariff, goods and services for that matter coming outside East African community. And you will hear this when the Minister for Finance is going through the budget. Mama alikuwa anatusomea hiyo. Kuna kipengele cha ushirikiano wa Afrika Mashariki. Now there are, like you say, imported cigar, imported wine, imported XYZ. They will be attracting higher tariff. You protect your domestic industry. This is partly how you do it. You can also protect through what we call embargo. Embargo, that's when you know, it total forbiddance of import for some reasons. It could be on health reasons, it could be on protecting domestic industry and stuff. We have also seen embargoes on political reasons. In apartheid South Africa, the world had embargo against South Africa. That was not protectionism as such, but was a political issue. You know, we have seen some arguing for embargo against some products from Israel because of belief that they are persuading Palestinians. You know, I won't go into detail. But economically, you protect through mainly fiscal measures, through imposing a tax on a on a good. Now the good is, and now I don't like to go so much into economics. Mdede, you remember, and Yusufu. It depends again whether it works or not. It depends on elasticity. And that's why when I was teaching students elasticity, that is the policy application. Elasticity of demand, price elasticity of demand. This is exactly where it comes in. If we impose the tariff on a good whose price is not a price elastic, you know, people keep on consuming. Again, partly, of course, we'll come to what Professor Shumbusho asked. Sometimes we might impose a tax, a tariff on import, yet people keep on consuming. It's double the price of domestically produced goods. And we will hear this. There are what we call sin taxes. Kodi za dhambi. You know, during budget, mama alikuwa anatusomea, you know, mama samani kama nakuonea, lakini alikuwa anatusomea hizo. Tax on cigar, tax on cigarette, tax on wine, tax on spirit, tax on casino. Those are what we call, you know, sin taxes. Kodi za dhambi. It will make the price almost double as much, but for what people keep on consuming. People have never stopped consuming their beer and wine and whiskey because the price is high. Mrema has kept on with his wine and whiskey imported for some reasons I will mention when I come to Professor Shumbusho's time. So, young man that asked this question, really there are so many ways in which you can protect, and of course reasons. Emmanuel, a civil engineer, I think the key issue here, young man, is about software. Why are we not having most up-to-date software? Again, this can take you back to my lecture, my talk on the income level, middle income, high income level, and stuff. These are expensive, for sure. These are expensive. And that's why partly I talked about, in your research, you can do basic research, you can do advanced research, you can do cutting-edge research, we can develop our own software. Now, that's why, again, I talked a lot on the fourth industrial revolution. Universities, higher institutions, we should change, actually. We should graduate and now teach in the era of the fourth industrial revolution. People now are talking about, industrial design, software development. People are talking about coding. I was in China at Chinese Academy of Social Sciences, only October, like 2 months ago. Just to appreciate, they wanted me to appreciate the way they are taking science and technology, design in serious. They took me to a school where children at age 6, miaka sita, they are learning fourth industrial revolution. They are learning designing. They are learning coding. Coding, you guys should know. They are learning, issues of development of apps. You guys, I think you are developing a lot of apps, applications, I have a conflict of interest, Daudi. This is my PROF.NGOWI TV. We have an app, actually, which we developed using the millennials. So young men and women, na kabla tujaja hapa, tulikuwa tunazungumza kidogo swala la ajira kwa vijana. That's where most young men and women now are going, to the world of apps. Because of artificial intelligence, because of what we call Internet of Things. That's where the world is now. So, young man, you are on your 4th year, Emmanuel, and you, your 4th year. I give you this challenge, develop yours. Develop yours. The knowledge is on your laptop, I quarrel with quite a number of students. They have high, expensive phones. How do you make use of them? You have a lot of knowledge in there. I'm sure you can do your designing, you can do your coding. Najua na washtaki labda na walimu wako utaniambia hawajanifundisha, lakini katika ngazi ya mwaka 4 sijui nzuri hiyo kozi yako, lakini given what I saw Chinese kids age 6, age 7 wanajifunza coding, wanajifunza kutengeneza apps, really that's where to go. Usilalamike kwamba haziko hapa, tengeneza za kwako. I said I will not sing songs of lamentation, I will give solutions. I think I'm not too harsh, yeah? Now, Professor Mtui, Malaysia and Tigers of Asia, as I think the key issue, Professor, is what they did that we have not done. And of course, I've met this question several times. A typical example, again, that I normally receive in this, Ghana and Malaysia got independence more or less the same time, Tanzania and Malaysia. Again, they'll go as far as saying, Malaysia, walichukua michikichi kutoka Kigoma, sasa ndio world exporters. Vijana wa siku hizo wanasema, hivi tunashindwa wapi? You see my point, eh? So, I think part of what Malaysia has done, and I can share the full paper, partly is the question of leadership, actually. Political leadership has been very consistent on that matter, on industrialization. It has been a journey, actually. It has been a journey. They have walked all this journey, but then the question of focus. And of course, the question of making choices. And when we make choices in economics, it's a sacrifice because resources are scarce. It's a question of saying focused, opportunity cost, leaving this at the expense of this. So part of what Malaysia has done is leadership, actually, political leadership. And good that we have political leadership, which is really focused. Now, if it's only political leadership alone will not deliver. That's why the higher learning institutions, again, have to do exactly that. But Malaysia, again, did a lot on what to call investment in human resources, research and development. And I think partly we have not really gone that. I think we had this agreement or whatever, where I think 1% of GDP should be going to research. I'm not sure, VC, Your Excellency VC, if I ask you how much research fund are you having, I don't like you to answer here. Professor Shumbusho, you are principal, I am principal, how much research I'm having from the government. I don't like to answer this question here, and when I don't like to answer, I think you know what I mean. So, really, we have not invested so much on research and development for industrialization. And not because we don't know, not because we don't like, sometimes the cake is too small. Sometimes we have not collected enough taxes. Sometimes we have evaded taxes, even some of us who are seated here. So at the end of the day, actually, it comes back to us. Mama uko hazina pale. I'm not sure the kapu lileli meja vipi, but what I'm saying on a serious note, the moment we mobilize enough resources, we have enough resources to allocate for R&D, research and development, the way Malaysia did, the moment we get our priorities correct, we might move towards that. And that's why I'm saying, I think in my paper on Malaysia, part of what I said is we should learn from those who have done better than us. Malaysia could be one of those, the Tigers of Asia, but even our neighbor Kenya really have done better than us in some aspects of industrialization. So you could see it's a long debate, and I'm cutting it a little bit short. Now, Professor Shumbusho, again, very big question actually, as why are we inclined to import? It's a history actually, but then I will answer it from economics mainly, and then I'll go into other things. Economically speaking, I said human beings are homo economicus. Homo economicus, this I'm drawing from Latin, you know, where people want the best. You go to the theory of consumer behavior. As a consumer, I want the best within my budget. You know, if you draw your budget line, I want the best within my reach. You know, there is, there's curves, so indifference curve. I always want to consume within the indifference curve that is within my reach. It's a human nature to want the best. If that best happens to be coming from Chile, I go to Chile instead of going to Dodoma. If that textile comes from China, from Turkey, I go for it. It's a human nature. The moment I don't, that's when I go to the lower indifference curve. We drew those things when I taught microeconomics. Well, back in, 1990s, actually. I've been around in the academia for past 25 years. So that is it from economics. Now, but then on a more serious note, again, when it comes to imports, we have seen also some imports which are better in quality but also cheaper. The case of China. Professor Kuzilo and I did a study on industrializing Africa through footwear and textile industry. What we saw, Africa African manufacturers, we are unable to compete from imports from Asia, and in this case, China and India, new imports, footwear and clothes, on account of quality. But actually, to our surprise, on account of price, actually. Sometimes they were cheaper. You know, made in China, sometimes when yes, it could be a little bit expensive, but then when you factor in quality, the look, the attractiveness, sometimes it beats domestically produced goods, There are issues of research and development, there are issues of capital versus labor intensive and stuff, But also there are issues, again, related to branding, rebranding, and marketing and packaging. Again, consumption is psychology. Marketing people know. Consumption is psychology. Those who are doing marketing will tell you, and this is, again, consumer behavior aspect. Some others are very good. Some countries, some people are extremely good in marketing, in branding their goods. The content might not be as good as the package itself. I have no problem in giving my example. I've bought some wines and whiskey, not because of the content. I don't even see the content, but the package. The way it looks, actually. And I'm sure, nadhani simkwazi mtu yote, but on a more serious note, really packaging, but also a question of marketing. Ask Coca-Cola, ask Pepsi, how much money they use on marketing. Ask McDonald's, how much money they use on marketing. If you are mean on marketing, you won't make your product known to the world. So are we setting enough funds for marketing our product?